So what does it mean to really show up in your power? Well, for me, it's all about showing up as your authentic self in a really vulnerable, sometimes messy, and always imperfect way. I think there's this thought that we have to show up in our power, and that means we've got to be really bold and we've got to be really courageous and strong and assertive and loud and, controversial. But actually showing up in our power can be really soft and gentle. And it's all about showing up even when we feel brave, because we know that sometimes the reason that we're showing up, it's not just about us, it's about the impact that we're making in the world, and it's about other people hearing our message. So we're going to be doing some tapping on this today. Before we do that though, I want you to rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how confident you feel to show up in your power. So that might be how confident you feel to show up doing a live on Facebook, or how confident you feel to be vulnerable on social media, or perhaps it's around sending an email, or maybe about talking to somebody around your boundaries. So 10 is extremely confident to do that thing, and 1 is like, no, I'm not at all confident to do that thing, I'm just going to go over here and hide a little while. So rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. You can put that in the comments for me, or just make a mental note of it, and we're going to check in again at the end. And hopefully we can start to boost your confidence a little bit to do that thing that you've been putting off, so you can feel like you are standing and showing up fully in your power. Okay, let's get tapping. So we're going to take a nice deep breath first of all. So breathing in through the nose and out through your mouth. And then just tapping on your karate chop point, just repeating after me out loud or in your mind. Even though I often feel too afraid to show up in my power, and just think about what that means to you. So maybe that does mean going live on Facebook or sending that email. Even though I often feel too afraid to show up in my power and XYZ, I acknowledge this fear today. I acknowledge it. Even though I'm worried about what people might think or what people might say about me, when I show up in this way in my life or in my business, I'm open to exploring this today. I'm open. Even though I know that I'm staying small and I'm holding back a little bit and I'm not showing up fully in my power, I choose to deeply and completely love, honour and accept myself. And then up to the eyebrow point. Oh, I feel so scared to show up like this. Really show up in my power. Side of the eye. What does it even mean anyway? What does it really mean? Under the eye. Part of me doesn't really know how to stand up in my power. Under the nose. But I get to define that. I get to choose what it means. Chin point. Maybe it means showing up and being vulnerable. Or showing up and being authentic. Collarbone point. Maybe it means feeling the fear and, like the saying goes, doing it anyway. Under the arm. And part of me does have all this fear around judgment, worrying what people will think and what people will say. And that's big. Top of the head. So instead of showing up, I shrink. Eyebrow point. I feel like showing up in my power is just too much. Side of the eye. Maybe I'm just going to be too much for some people. Under the eye. And the people pleaser in me wants everyone to like me and engage with me and be nice to me. Under the nose. And it's really hard to feel that sense of rejection and judgment. Chin point. It's like I'm either too much or I'm just not enough. And I swing between those two. Show up, too much. Shrink, I'm not enough. Collarbone point. And it is so daunting putting yourself out there and showing up when you're scared. It's a big thing. Under the arm. It's like, look at me, here I am. Top of the head. And when you're vulnerable like that, you're open to criticism and unkindness and judgment. So just stop tapping normally for a minute. We're just going to continue tapping on the collarbone point, okay? So if you feel comfortable, just close your eyes and I'm just going to talk to you about showing up, and we're just going to do a little visualization around it. So let's think about the definition of showing up in your power. And just think about what that means to you in your life. Maybe there's a particular scenario where you feel like you're giving your power away. Or maybe there's a scenario where you feel like you're hiding or shrinking. So just thinking about that scenario and how that makes you feel to not be in your power. And there might be a realisation that actually it's a really disempowering place to be. So thinking about what it could mean, and it could mean that when you show up in your power, you're feeling fully aligned. Maybe you feel like you're really grounded. Or maybe it's around overcoming fears. Just realising that sometimes your message is bigger than you. And sometimes we just got to be really brave. So let's just imagine doing that thing for a moment. So what you're going to do is just imagine yourself as what you would determine the best version of yourself. So that might be your higher self, or your six-figure self, or your most aligned self. And let's just see yourself doing that thing as if you were your best self. So if it is, for example, going live on Facebook, just see yourself getting prepared for that. Maybe you're writing down some bullet points. Maybe you can see yourself setting up a tripod. If it's around being vulnerable in a post online, maybe you can see yourself just starting to write and feeling really good about it, owning it. Or maybe it's around boundaries and you're just seeing yourself preparing to have a difficult conversation. Whatever it is, that's completely okay, because you get to choose what this is, showing up in your power. So now let's see yourself doing that thing as the boldest, bravest person. And I want you to see yourself doing that thing and it going really well, like way better than you expected. And maybe there is a sense of feeling afraid, but you carry on and you're really, really brave. And you're bold. And you do what needs to be done and you say what needs to be said. And if it is something like going live on Facebook, just imagine people interacting with you and, you know, giving you praise on something or celebrating you in some way or thanking you for the message that they needed to hear that day. So just take some slow, calming breaths as you imagine yourself doing this thing in a really positive way, super positive. And then just fast forward that scene to afterwards, after the moment of stepping in your power or showing up in your power. And that sense of relief and gratitude and pride. Really feel that pride that you've done it, you've shined somewhere, you've been shining, or you've been showing up, or you've been being vulnerable, messy and authentic, whatever it is, just really celebrate yourself. See yourself getting up from wherever you're sitting down and going, yeah, I did it, whoop, whoop, go me. Or maybe you message your best friend. Just celebrate yourself. Okay, nice deep breath. And let go. And then tapping just on the eyebrow point. We're going to do 2 more rounds of tapping, okay? Bring the energy for this. I am so proud of myself for showing up in my power in the past, because I have done hard things before. I have shown up in my power before. And I'm really proud of myself. Side of the eye. And sometimes that growth outside of the zone of comfort is really difficult. It's almost like having these growing pains, these emotional growing pains under the eye. And when I have these moments of whether I'm going to show up in my power or not, I have 2 options. Under the nose. Am I going to show up and shine? Or am I going to shrink and hide? Chin point. And I choose to shine in my power. I choose to shine in my power. And I choose love over fear every time. Bring the love, bring the love. Whenever you feel that fear, bring the love, bring the love. Collarbone point. And when I feel that flash of inspiration to show up in my power, I'm going to take it. I'm going to honour that inspiration. Under the arm. And the more I honour inspiration and creativity, the more of it I attract into my life. Top of the head. So showing up in my power can energise me even more and inspire me more and help me become more creative. Eyebrow point. I choose to show up in my power and be of service to others. Side of the eye. And the more that I do this, the more that I show up, the more confident I feel. Win-win. Under the eye. And this isn't just about me, this is about other people. It's about being of service. It can be about honouring boundaries. It can be about just being really brave and living my best life, my most authentic life. Under the nose. And just imagine how impactful it would be if I just showed up in my power time and time again. Chin point. Because I am so powerful and I am so unique. I am me. I celebrate myself. Collarbone point. Because the world would be such a boring place if we were all the same. If I just showed up the same that everyone else did. I need to show up as me. Under the arm. And there's enough room for everybody to shine. There's enough room for everybody. Top of the head. And who knows, when I show up in my power, it might inspire somebody else to do the same. Just imagine the ripple effect of showing up in your power. All those lives that could be impacted in a really positive way. Well done. Just stop tapping there for a moment. Just closing your eyes. Let's just finish off this tapping with a little reminder, really, that everyone that you admire, everyone that inspires you in some way, just close your eyes for this if you can. They have all been through this. They've been through these really difficult moments of deciding whether to show up or not. And they took the leap and they did it. And if they did it, that means that you can do it as well. But I want you to just for a moment harness some of that lovely energy that, you know, it is that real courage that we feel when we are going to do something that is scary. let that energy, that bravery inspire you. Just bring that into your heart. Just thinking about all those people that you admire online. They've been here. They've been where you are, making these decisions, and they did it anyway. And let's set an intention to do something today where we show up in our power. So I really want you to do this. So today I am going to show up in my power by, and I want you to say the thing that you are going to do because you can do it. Today I choose to show up in my power by, and it doesn't matter what it is, how big, how small, just set that intention and see it through. Okay, nice deep breath and let go. Well done for setting that intention. I want to know, by the way, how you get on, so do come back and tell me. But first of all, let's measure in and rate how confident you feel. So we did this at the beginning, how confident you felt about showing up in your power on that scale of 1 to 10. Okay, so 10 was like extremely confident, I'm all out there showing up in my power, woohoo, every day. And 1 is like, no, I can't, no, it's too scary, too hard, I can't do it. Hopefully your confidence around this has gone up to really do that thing, okay? I believe in you, you can do this hard thing, you can show up in your power, and do come back and let me know how you got on. I would love to hear. Thank you so much for tapping with me today.